Hi, this is Jo from Greenhills Paradise. We've just had 24 hours of high winds that's really taken a toll around the garden. So I was going to be making this video today, but had no idea that I was going to come out to find quite a few plants a little bit leaning over and out of the ground, but never mind, we'll continue. My globe artichoke was actually lying right down, and I've propped it up with some wood on the side, and it hopefully is going to be all right. I might have to put a post in it later and just make it extra secure. Having these winds coming at different directions over the first year of my food forest, it's going to make me realise what I have to do is a bit of wind protection over the coming years, just to protect it from different winds that are coming. So yeah, it's all a learning curve for me, and it's a great learning curve, and you just make a solution out of a problem when you find one. That's the permaculture way, so that's excellent. Okay, so we've got another casualty here. One of my big cauliflowers is actually right over and out of the ground, but it must have a reasonably long taproot because it doesn't seem to be showing any sign of check or wilting. So maybe we're going to get a cauliflower that's going to be growing horizontally, which will be interesting. We've had lots of new growth now, which is just so neat to see. The nasturtiums are away, so they're going to be winning over the kikuyu that might want to poke its head up again. We've got blossom all coming on this is the mandarin tree, and it's doing really well now. We've had a lot of chicken manure around it. I've planted potatoes virtually around the entire perimeter of the garden, out of the way, and let them just do what they want to do. So my tamarillos, they're starting to grow really well as well. My elderberry down here is showing lots of good growth, and I've got bottles of water dotted around the garden. In fact, the wind's blown the lid off, and that's where I'm dropping the weeds into. So it's going to be a delightful, smelly weed tea, which I can dilute. Oops, there's the lid. And feed the garden during the summer, which is so cool. So I decided to take the containers out into the garden, and it's just easier to put straight into the bottle when I've got the weeds. This is my little dwarf peach tree, and luckily it wasn't fully laden like last year. It was just ridiculous. We had moved here and I left the garden as it was, and these were the two trees that were out the back, and this looks like it's going to be a lot more sensible fruiting this year, which is great. This is my wicking garden. The pumpkins grew on their own accord this end, and I decided that this can be my pumpkin bed, and I'm actually going to train the pumpkins back, and they can grow all over the hedge at the back, so they won't take up so much room on my garden. I'll just let them scrawl all across the hedge. I've actually planted two of my own seedlings at the back that I've got from Coanga Nursery. I got, one's a buttercup pumpkin and one's a table queen acorn squash, so they can just do what they want to do. This is the small nectarine tree, and once again there's just been a nice amount of blossom on it, which is great. I needed some more garden to plant some annuals in, as my soil obviously isn't in a great condition yet because it's all just new mulch and everything. So I put compost on this oval garden, and I've made it my lettuce, tomato and beetroot garden. So I'll plant 3 more tomato plants in each quarter. So they're just in the greenhouse growing at the moment. So that is going to be a nice little patch of veggies. And we walk around here, we've got garlic all around that little apple tree, and that apple tree is going to burst into bud by the looks very soon, which is great. My blueberry's got some lovely little blueberry flowers coming on it, and my Chilean guavas, I've got 2 or 3 of these, and they're just doing so well, so that's awesome. And then we've come to my lasagna garden, where I've got the whole garden circle I planted in turmeric with my little fig tree in the middle, and I've got my blackbird deterrents all over the garden. I've got black netting that my great friend Annie from the South Coromandel Hills gave me when I visited her last week. I've started spreading that. I've got branches strategically positioned. I've got bits of fencing that used to be from our dog before we got the wooden fences built. I've put them over because the blackbirds are just, they are just, the second they can see some bare mulch, they're digging it up. So this part was really getting hammered by them, so it's all covered up now. Now, my zucchini before the wind was growing all the way up the tree. I've never had a climbing, running zucchini before. We've even got small zucchinis coming on it already. So it's a very unusual plant. This is the zucchini that survived all winter here and produced zucchinis up until about July. So it might be an incredible little plant, this. My broad beans have all been hammered from the wind, but we are getting broad beans now, so I'm quite happy about that. My viburnum there is all in flowers, so that's looking quite cute at the moment. Boysenberry's all, that one's bursting into leaf. And then I've got, this is an apricot tree here, and I haven't got blossom this year, but that's fine. I only planted it a couple of months ago, so that's good that it'll have a little bit of a rest this year, maybe next year. My banana palms is a beautiful healthy little pup coming up, so that's pretty cool. And now I just saw a bee fly onto that sage flower, so that's nice to see all the bees. I've got plenty of food around here because I've got lots of things in flower. So it's been a great time in the garden, but that wind has done an extreme lot of damage all around. I've got two small green plastic houses that just, they nearly took off, so I've tethered them down with so many guy ropes and weights and ballast all over them, so I'll go inside them today to see how my seedlings are. Hopefully nothing's actually been knocked off the shelves or anything. I've got beans starting, but once again this is where the blackbirds have just completely dug up. I had peas planted all around with the beans too, and I think a lot of them have gone, so I'll do some serious netting over here today. But I do have a few beans here, and I've even got a runner bean flowering. Good grief, look at that. So there's a runner bean flowering. That was from my seeds, from my plants that I had over the other side of the garden last year. And we've got some more here, but the wind really has just gone awful. And there's some lovely chamomile that's going to be not long till it's in flower, so chamomile tea coming up, yum. And oh dear me, my steak, my tie's broken off my Takasasti there. I'll have to sort that out as well. And some lovely borage, and here's my lovely girls. And the compost machine is just working like a treat. So that's just this morning's compost from the house tipped in this morning, and they've already mixed it all up. They're just never ending, these little girls. And this lavender here has been the most amazing lavender for the bees. They're on it the whole time. I don't know, you just can never count how many are in there. But the funny thing is, this lighter coloured lavender, they're not too fussed on it. So soon I'm going to take a whole lot of cuttings from this one, and I'm just going to plant it all around the garden. So yeah, so that's about me at the moment with everything that's happening, and I'll probably do a more in-depth video with my compost making, because I know a lot of you have been really keen to see how I get the chooks to actually do all the work and make this beautiful, beautiful compost. So I'll have to get that sorted soon. And yeah, until the next video, happy gardening and happy learning.